You know, all that sugary cereal that millions of Americans eat every day? Well, it's not exactly healthy, but thanks to a loophole in FDA regulations, they can still be labeled as really healthy. Good for consumers, good for your children, good for your health. And now the FDA wants to change that. Some of the biggest cereal makers are spending millions of dollars to make sure that they can call it healthy. Pick it up.
This is a truly bizarre story because it's not something people would typically think about, like, what do we care about the cereal? Well, we're lying to consumers is what these cereal companies want to continue to do. They're going to the FDA. They're spending millions on lobbyists to tell them, we've got to be able to lie, because if we can't slap that healthy label on, I mean, look how brightly colored the sugar is, then we can't sell it. And we're talking about cereals that typically studies have shown children do, double the serving size, which means they're getting as much sugar for breakfast. It's the equivalent of eating just a Snickers bar for breakfast.
Okay, so here's their argument. Well, first of all, the craziest argument is, you know what? Constitutionally, we have a right to lie. We can lie to consumers. It's our constitutional right to lie to consumers. Yes, we are lying to consumers, and it's okay, and you can't change that. That's the first argument. The second argument is, you know what? We're really doing this for the American public because poverty-stricken people, they want to make it more affordable and accessible for people who can't afford a lot. So give this to the kids, let them fill up on sugar, send them off to school, and everything's going to be okay. Some of it falls on the parents, right? I mean, some of this really does fall on the parent. A parent reads this, Fruity Pebbles, Lucky Charms. Don't you say, well, there's, probably some sugar here. Don't you at least check that out? But the problem is they're selling it as a healthy, safe product for your children.
Yeah, and look, there's some vitamins in there. They do pack it in there, but it's the sugar that, of course, is the problem. I mean, diabetes is an epidemic here in the United States, and these cereals sure as heck aren't helping that. And to argue that, as a, producer, you have the right to lie, that's no different than a car manufacturer saying, listen, there's a good chance this car could fly. Maybe you want to buy it because it could fly.
And constitutionally, we can lie to you.
Right.
So try to fly it, and if it doesn't work, we're still okay.
You just got to go really fast off that cliff. It'll fly for a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's where we're at. And unfortunately, these manufacturers, you're talking about Post, General Mills, Kellogg's, they've got a good chance at being successful here because they've successfully avoided this loophole closing.
The real ugly part of this are the freaks that are doing this for them.
Yeah.
Talk about, it's this really shady kind of PR group. They were the same people that argued on behalf of the OxyContin industry, saying, oh, this is, you don't have any problems with this. This is not going to be something that's addictive. These are the same people that the cereal industry, they take them, okay, the Oxy experience killed 150 people a day for, 2 decades? Now, let's talk about this because we want to make your little 7-year-old Freddie into a sumo wrestler. We don't care if he's morbidly fat. We don't care if he gets diabetes because it's our right to lie if we want to lie.
Yeah, this group is called the Washington Legal Foundation, which sounds like a very, legal foundation. Of course they're good.
Yeah.
Now, what it is really just a lobbyist organization. Like you said, they fought on behalf of the opioid manufacturers. They've done all kinds of things with the corn refiners, sugar, pills.
Yeah.
That is what this group does to make sure we keep those on our streets.
But don't you see the connection here? How it's almost dark humor. This creepy Washington organization works in the dark. They worked in the dark on OxyContin, knowing that 150 people a day were dying from OxyContin. Now, let's move over to little 7-year-old fat Freddie, who's eating 2 bowls of this every morning and then off to school, and he ends up with diabetes, he ends up morbidly fat. And what are you going to do about that? It's our right to do it. We have a right to do that.
Yeah, it's truly disgusting, even just from the humanitarian aspect of it. You like to talk about all the time, These people go home from work and they sit down and the kids are, how was your day at work? Oh, it's great. I fought to make sure that poor people become morbidly obese and end up with health
Yeah,
problems
you know what
later
you're
in
talking about,
life.
the people that work for this organization. That's your good day, right? I had a success today. We're going to have more little fat Freddies around, 7-year-old sumo wrestlers. We're going to create a whole generation of them because we're going to sell Lucky Charms and Fruity Pebbles. And you know what? We're going to argue we have a constitutional right to lie to the American public to do it. That's that story, isn't it?